You know, the United States is the only country that I know of that has a birthday. You know,
I don't think there's any other one out there.
I don't think so either. We actually have a birthday, 4th of July, and it started with the Declaration of Independence. And then these masterminds wrote the Constitution, and then the constituents and the citizenry of this country came back with an equally great paper called the Bill of Rights. And during this whole time of doing the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, James Madison, John Jay, Alexander Hamilton wrote the Federalist Papers. And then later on, we had the Emancipation Proclamation. These were the writings that made America great. You know, it goes back to what Dennis has said. The Declaration stands for independence from Great Britain. And in the number 1 paragraph, you can go line to line and complaint that they had written to King George and see today our political climate just as they did. We have very similar problems. Too much government control. You know, rule is by force and law is force. And we consented to be ruled by laws, not by men. And that's what that book really states and really sets home to you, the Founder's Key. There's some politicians right now that love the Declaration of Independence for a different reason than what the Founding Fathers wrote it for. You know, they said all men were created equal. And they meant that at the beginning. Everybody's born with the same opportunities. Again, what I said before, everybody has a life to live and a right to live the way you want to. You know, when we were kids, your mother said, you could be whatever you want when you grow up. I don't see that today. You know, these kids have a real hard time going to school. I mean, schools are closed, but the borders are open. These places that they're holding these illegal immigrants are going to be filled to capacity, but you can't go to a bar. This is the United States of America, our bar. Some guy down the road threw the dice, took the risk, opened his own business, invited his neighbors to come in and enjoy his festive times, and he's closed now.
Have to close down.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, the D.C., the politicians there, they see all men were created equal as an end game, the end of your life. You know, your neighbor that you grew up with as a kid wanted to be a millionaire. He worked hard, became a millionaire. You didn't. Well, today's politicians want to know why you're not a millionaire and he is, and how are we going to get you to be a millionaire? It's like the old saying, he who dies with the most toys wins. Well, these politicians want to give everybody all the toys without working for it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? You know, everyone interprets things differently. I mean, we all learn at different levels. Look at me. I was 55 years old and I'm finally getting my master's degree. I mean, but just because someone has more education than you, more money, doesn't make them better than you. We just took different paths. I mean, that's what makes America great. I mean, we're diverse, and we all have something to contribute to this day and age in society. And I heard a saying, and I don't remember who said it, but it goes, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. I think that time has come where we're all ready to get more educated, better educated. I mean, our founders believed that we had a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The best written document in our history, the Declaration of Independence, which shows common sense. We didn't need to be part of a British colony. We didn't need a king to rule us. We could form our own government and govern our own country. Every part of that declaration is powerful and shows the brilliance of our founding fathers.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even the Declaration in the first paragraph, again, it mentions one people. How timeless is that one people? It's not one people in those colonies, on that one continent, in that one time in history. One people means one people, wherever you are, in whatever time. 200 years later, it's still relevant. One people.
Yeah, just let me add that. In Federalist Paper number 2 again, J, he states, with equal pleasure, I have often taken notice that Providence has been pleased to give us a connected country to one united people. Not a divided people. One united. That means we all stick together to achieve a common goal. I mean, it's crazy, Jack, the way these politicians are. I mean, we have a lot of information to hand out, to give people. Just, like I said, check out our website. let us know what you think. Like I said, we're just rookies here, and we're just two average guys that are fed up. So we'll do the best we can, but we're going to do it for all of us.
Yeah, on our website it shows that founder's key, and this comes right out of that book, how it shows that, in the Declaration of Independence says the laws of nature and nature's God. That's a lot being said right there, and this again shows how the modern politician takes the content of the Declaration out, and they can try and transfer it into the Constitution. Because nature's law is the day has the sun and the night has the moon. That's always going to change. There's no Darwinism to it. And our local politicians feel that these nature's laws are like Darwin. They should evolve. So the Constitution, in turn, should now start evolving. And it doesn't need to evolve. Because after what Dennis has to say next, a few lines down, the Founding Fathers explained how government doesn't change and evolve like nature.
Yeah, our politicians don't want us educated anyway. The less educated we are, the better they can stay in office, And this podcast is the beginning of all that. We're going to show people that we don't need these politicians; they need us. I mean, folks, we need to wake up before it's too late. We can take back our government without any blood being spilled. We don't have to riot like they did all last summer and have unruly protest. We can take back our government through the ballot box, stand together, and vote all these people out of office. We don't change by rioting. We don't change by storming the Capitol. We do it peacefully, and we win.
Yeah, I mean, you go down a few sentences and it states, prudence indeed will dictate the government's long established, should not be changed for light and transient causes. That's just a few sentences further down in that paragraph. It shows you that the Declaration of Independence is not Darwinism. It's not to be changed. It's not evolutionary because government shouldn't change over every insignificant problem it has. That's why it's so important when you hear a politician say, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, during World War II, Winston Churchill was the first person who used the phrase, never let a good crisis go to waste. I mean, it actually led to the formation of the United Nations, and it offered numerous opportunities during that crisis. And these politicians on both sides use it all the time to make us think and believe that our country needs drastic change. The only thing we need change in our country are politicians that believe in the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the state constitutions and the United States Constitution. And by doing it together, we can achieve that.
Yeah, another issue was reason for breaking away from the British rule was he kept among us in a time of peace a standing army without the consent of the legislators. Right now in Washington, D.C., there's several thousand National Troop Guards armed at the Capitol building with a fence around it.
Can't get a fence around the Capitol building, but not the border. It's crazy.
I mean, that's like number 10 on the complaints that our founding fathers were like, whoa, this guy can't be doing this. The Declaration wasn't numbered, but I numbered them for this so I could keep track of it. And the 23rd thing that they sent against King George was he has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. Now, there's obviously not a declaration of war against the citizens of the United States of America, but they do have a fence around where they stay and an army that's armed around the Capitol all day. And certainly looks like they want to head it in that direction. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, the minority leader in Congress, they refuse to take this fence down and remove this army. So who's pointing the guns at who and why? Why is this going on? Why are they hiding behind that fence and that army? An armed army in our nation's capital facing out towards us, the constituents, the ones that put you there, the ones that pay you. You
know what? It's funny. It comes down to the blame game again. Democrats say, oh, the Republicans wanted it, and then the Republicans say, no, the Democrats want it. So who do you believe? I mean, but you can see it's happening right here in our backyards. It's crazy. What are these politicians afraid of? I mean, I heard they might keep most of them there until the fall. That's our house, people. Can you see these politicians want to get farther and farther away from us? I mean, I think it's sad they put up a fence around the building to keep Americans out, but they won't build a border wall to keep illegal immigrants out. It's crazy, and we have to wake up and smell the coffee.
Yeah, these illegal immigrants is a hot topic for Dennis, and my hot topic is this armed army in Washington, D.C. You know,
hey, I'm all for people coming to our country legally. Just do it the right way, like our.
Yeah,
we'll
I mean, they set a precedent 200 years ago about immigration, and it's worked. Why are we changing it now? You know, we already told you that they don't make the laws anymore, and they don't write the bills. So this is what I feel they do, because for my entire adult life, all I heard out of D.C. were catchphrases, like comprehension immigration law. For 30 years, I heard every elected official and everybody that wanted to be elected, get me into office and I'll make a comprehensive immigration law. Guess what? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like, because it never happened. They never made a comprehensive immigration law. You know, now today's slogan is systemic racism. If you go against anything that any politician says, or the state media, whatever they say, you, sir, are a systemic racist.
Is there racism in this country? Absolutely. And if you are racist, we don't need you here. You know what? We work with people of color. You know, we get along great. It's the media and the politicians that think that we have the issues. It's not. We all get along good. Like I said, there are racists out there. And if you are, like I said, we don't need you in this country. There's no room for you. I mean, but can you see what's going on, folks? These politicians don't care about you and I. All they care about is their political seat and getting paid for doing as little as possible. Most of these people in Congress, in the Senate, they're all millionaires. Most of the people today live paycheck to paycheck. People are unemployed. And these people are, it's crazy. It's all about getting power and keeping it. And they want us to rely on the government for everything. That's socialism, folks. We don't want that. No way. We are a free country. We want to make our own decisions.
Yeah, and the politicians in it aren't supposed to be socialists. They're just as guilty because they refuse to stop it. So they're on the outside. Look, this is the way I feel it. I see they're standing in front of the camera at me, giving me a wink and a nod, saying, I got your back. I don't want any of this. And then when they look over their shoulder, they're like, giving the okay sign, don't worry, I'm not going to push this too far. You know, I'm still on your side. I don't want to lose, the power I have here, but I'm just going to let these constituents that vote for me think that I'm on their side and I don't want socialism. They're all the same, because if you refuse to do the hard work to stay in the Constitution, that's a problem. To stay in the lines of the Constitution is hard work. And we already see they don't want to work. They have bureaucracies doing their work and special interests doing their work. And the special interest is really important to them, because that's where they get their money. They don't care about the $170,000 they get a year from us. That's chump change.
They're millionaires. They don't care. And I have a lot to say about socialism, but I'm going to leave that for a future podcast, because there's a lot of things that have happened over the last 20 years that led us towards socialism. And so we got a lot to say about that. But again, I'm about for our legal immigration. I'm for legal immigration. Our people used to come through Ellis Island in New York to become citizens here. And now they just cross the border whenever they want. And these administrations, they just let it happen. And it's crazy. You just can't follow laws that you like and ignore the laws you don't like. Congress passes laws for a reason. They must be followed. When you don't follow it, that's when all this crazy stuff happens. like quality of life issues, crime. Follow the laws that are on the books and follow them the right way, and this country will get better.
Yeah, not the laws the bureaucracies put in. The laws that our congressmen are supposed to be putting in, and our Senate reviews and signs off on, and our president signs off on it. So that those three branches of government all agree on that law. Nobody gets to sign off on a law when a bureaucracy does it because they pass it and they are not accountable to election. They're accountable to a 20-year pension. And that's how long it takes them to get anything done, because I got 20 years to do this.
Yeah. So let me give you two examples about the hypocrisy in Washington. The first one was in Chuck Schumer in 2009. Said this about illegal immigration, and at that time a Republican was president. Thanks to our president's actions, we've seen a crisis unfolding on our southern border and across the country. The crisis was willfully and purposely created by this president, who was Bush, through his zero-tolerance policy at the border. And in 2019, he said, America has no moral right to detain migrants caught at the U.S. border and must release them to Catholic charities and other nonprofit welcoming groups, and was caught on video offering a thumbs-up signal of support to illegal migrant men. Can't you see that these people are playing us? They tell you what you want to hear, and they forget. They think we forget what they say. I mean, in 1998, several Republicans voted to impeach Democrat President Clinton for lying to the public. Two of them are in office today, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. I mean, at that time, I didn't feel he should be impeached. He didn't commit treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Did he lie to the public? Yes. That's not a crime, lying to the public. It's just unethical. When President Trump was impeached, they totally took the opposite approach. Again, Trump lied to the American people. It's not a crime, unethical. Should not have been impeached the first time or the second time. This shows us, folks, that who can be the better actor? These politicians should get the Shame Award, not an Emmy Award. The hypocrisy is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, sit back on your couch and listen to these politicians. First off, when we were kids, my mother would come in and say, stop looking at that idiot box and go out and do something. The idiot box being the TV. Well, today, all of us kids that were told to stop looking at the idiot box and go out and do something are sitting in front of the idiot box again, listening to these idiots tell us what we're supposed to think. I mean, sit back and listen to these politicians and the anchors on the news. They act like grade school kids, throwing tantrums, holding their breath, stomping their feet over issues that are not laws. They're just bad feelings. You hurt my feelings. Instead of acting like legislators in the most powerful country in the world, enough of the junior high school drama. We have real drama like China, Russia, Iran, closer to home, full-blown socialism in our government. Maybe we should put our statements hats back on, try and figure out where we went off track, get back into the Constitution, and take care of the important business at hand, like the COVID pandemic that's being treated like third graders, and the $30 trillion debt. Oh, shit. Did I say that? Yeah. We have a $30 trillion debt. That's getting hard to hold.
Oh, you got that right. It's unbelievable, as I said so many times, that these people get away with whatever they want, and we just sit back and say, it's all right, we'll get over it. No, we won't. Because you know what? This country has no money. We're broke, folks. If we had money, we wouldn't be $30 trillion in debt. I mean, that's how bad it is. Again, check out our website. We're on GoDaddy Sites at uscgnational2021.godaddysite.com. And you can check out everything we got on there. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. So, Jack?